It seems Bernie Sanders thinks third time could be a charm. A top political advisor to the Vermont senator wrote in a memo to supporters that he isn't ruling out a presidential run in 2024 if President Biden decides not to seek re-election. The memo, first obtained by the Washington Post, reads in part, "In the event of an open 2024 Democratic presidential primary, Senator Sanders has not ruled out another run for president, so we advise that you answer any questions about 2024 with that in mind." Caitlin Huey Burns is in Washington with more on this. Caitlin, thanks for joining us. Tell us, what else did this memo say, and what's the significance of this?
Hey, Nikki, I know it's only 2022, but 2024 is not too far away. When you're looking at kind of the bigger political landscape, this is a time when politicians are using their political capital in the midterm elections this year to launch them on perhaps to higher ambitions. What's significant about this memo is that, earlier Bernie Sanders hinted and said in interviews that he wasn't likely to run again. This suggests that he is, of course, not only open to the idea, not ruling it out, but also kind of what it says about the Democratic landscape at this point. There is speculation about whether President Biden will run for a second term, especially given his age. Of course, he and Bernie Sanders are only a year apart. They're about the same age. But this also shows that Sanders believes that, or the people around him believe that he still has a key influence within the Democratic Party. And that is something to watch, especially heading into these midterm elections.
So many younger Americans had supported him in the past, for sure. What has Bernie Sanders' influence been on the Biden administration?
Well, he in the Senate is the chairman of the Budget Committee. So in that role, he has been very influential in shaping legislation, not only in terms of infrastructure, but also these big ticket items. He has, worked with the administration on this. But he has also been a figure which Republicans have tried to tie kind of around the neck of Biden and Democrats running for re-election this time around. And there have been instances in which Biden has had to defend himself kind of against attacks of socialism. Bernie Sanders, of course, has called himself a democratic socialist, and Republicans often point to that and his influence in this administration, especially as chairman of the Budget Committee, as a vulnerability for Democrats. Biden, in a press conference earlier this year, remember, he said, "Look, I'm not Bernie Sanders. Kind of stop calling me that." And we've even seen Mitch McConnell, who is the Republican Senate minority leader, who is hoping to gain seats in the Senate to become majority leader. He has accused Biden of governing like Bernie Sanders. So Sanders can become a liability for Democrats running for re-election in this really difficult cycle. And part of this memo circulated by his top political advisor was to advise candidates kind of the benefits that they think of that Sanders could bring and a way to kind of respond to some of those attacks.
Caitlin, do you have any insight on what Sanders' plans are for campaigning in this upcoming midterm election?
Right. Part of this memo was to signal that he is very eager to be out on the campaign trail. He is actually going to be going to New York this weekend to appear with the Amazon, those who organized the Amazon Union. That was a big, big headline over the past couple of weeks. He also in this memo said that he is very, wants to campaign for candidates. In Texas, he got involved supporting Jessica Cisneros, who is running against the incumbent Democrat in that really key congressional race. We'll see the results of that runoff in Texas next month. So he's very eager to get out there. And part of this memo was to highlight ways in which his political team thinks that he has a lot of political capital to offer this time around. They point to polls showing that he is popular in polls. And so this was a sign, the biggest sign yet, that he is looking to exert this influence, not only this cycle, but kind of what it could mean for the future for the party as well.
And of course, another potential 2024 contender is former President Donald Trump. What kind of influence is he having on the party right now as we are in primary election season?
Yeah, he has made endorsements all around the country, and some key endorsements to watch are coming up in just a couple of weeks. Let's take a look at Ohio, for example. He just a couple of days ago endorsed J.D. Vance, who is running in a very crowded Republican primary in Ohio. That'll be really the first big test for former President Trump's influence. We know he has been endorsing candidates who agree with his baseless claims of election fraud. That is something that he continues to promote, and that's something also to keep an eye on as he's endorsing these candidates. Kind of how they do in May, especially with that May 3rd primary in Ohio, will give us a really good indication of the former president's influence in the party, or whether the Republican base wants to move in a different direction. So keep an eye on next month. A lot of races to watch there.
All right, Caitlin, with all the D.C. news, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nikki.